Which lettuce is best for home gardeners? Let's talk about it. I'm Jess from Onion Grass Gardens. Let's get to it. Just a quick note about what you're looking at here. This is the cold frame that we have been growing lettuce in over winter. And the point of this contraption is just to keep frost off of lettuce. So as you can see, it is spring now and it is open. But just as a side note, we built this just simply out of some straw bales, a storm door that we replaced on our front porch. We've got some handy dandy cinder blocks and some pieces of wood that just ensures that the door seals properly, because if we put it straight on the cinder blocks, this would have let in frost, and the whole point is to keep frost off the leaves, because lettuce can actually withstand really cold temperatures as long as it doesn't get ice on its leaves. So that's what you're looking at here, and let's get to talking about some lettuce. The two types of lettuce we're going to talk about today, or at least the two categories, are loose leaf and head lettuce. Now, head lettuce you're probably used to from the grocery store. That's your classic heads like iceberg. They form a tight ball. And loose leaf lettuce are more of your open habitat growing lettuces like these, where the leaves just fall open. I have a couple here, and we're going to thin these out a little bit just as a demonstration of the different types. So with your loose leaf, you can see it's very open. It doesn't form any kind of head. This one was kind of stunted, growing in the middle of all these bigger plants. And you'll hear the term often, cut and come again, for loose leaf lettuce. And what that means is that you can cut some leaves off, leave the lettuce in the ground. You don't harvest the whole head of lettuce, so to speak. You just cut some leaves, and then the lettuce keeps growing, and you come again, and you cut more leaves, and then you come again. And as an example, this is definitely a cut and come again lettuce bed. The only exception here of the head lettuce is I do have some butter crunch, and even this is a pretty loose head lettuce. I don't grow any of the tight headed lettuces. And that brings me to the very first point of what is the best type of lettuce for a home gardener to grow. In my opinion, it's the loose leaf. And it is exactly because of that cut and come again quality. So you can see this lettuce bed here. This came into full production about March, and we are currently at May 2nd, 2024. My husband and I have eaten this lettuce, these heads of lettuces, all the way through all of April and all of March, and it looks like we're probably going to keep eating them through most of May. And compare that then to a head of lettuce that you grow it, you chop the whole head, and then you're done. We've literally been eating the same plants now for 2 months. And I think that's one definite advantage for the home gardener. So in the grocery store, you see head lettuce. Let's talk about head lettuce for a second. I got a nice little butter crunch here we'll harvest as a head. All right. Now, these form a much looser head. Eventually, if left long enough, this would ball up in the middle. But this is a little closer to your classic heading type lettuce. And this is really convenient for a market farmer, where they can cut it, package it, ship it to the store, and there's a product to sell. But as home gardeners, we're not really concerned with that. It's less effective for us as home gardeners to harvest something once. Why would I harvest it once when I could harvest it dozens of times? So I think in that aspect, the cut and come again lettuces, your loose leaves, are far superior to your head lettuces as a home gardener, because you can just keep eating them. Second, I think another advantage is with a head lettuce, you know, you're really committing to eating lettuce when you harvest a whole head or when you buy a whole head of lettuce. Um, to give you an example, if we want sandwiches, I come out here and I pick, you know, a few leaves. You know, maybe I just want one leaf on my sandwich. I can come out and I can pick one leaf, and that's it. I go back inside. I don't have to commit to a whole head of lettuce. I can just eat one leaf if I want. And likewise, I can cut leaves for their different purposes. So if I want to cut leaves for salad, I can cut a wide variety of my leaves and have a nice, beautiful, colorful salad that I've now created out of a variety of leaves. But if I'm just making a sandwich, well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look for a nice, big, flat, curly leaf that looks nice on my bread, and I'll get a nice single lettuce leaf. So I think for home gardeners, the advantage is 100% towards the loose leaf lettuces, because again, you can harvest them repeatedly and you can just take as much as you want when you want it. The other advantage is because of this really loose growth habit that loose leaf has, it's harder for pests to hide. If we look in here, oh, my head's falling apart a little bit. It's a lot easier for bugs to hide in here. And let's see if we can find any culprits. Yep, way down inside there, I don't know if you can see it, there is a baby slug right there. And you can actually see inside of this head, there is bug damage happening. And so that's another disadvantage of your heading lettuces, is that it's easier for pests to hide inside and to destroy your crop from the inside. And then you go to harvest it and you found out you don't have a crop. The other thing I would say is that if you live in a place that's very wet and gets a lot of rain, the other thing that can happen with a very tight head lettuce, I wouldn't expect it on this, but for something like an iceberg lettuce that is very tight, if water gets inside of that, you can actually have it rot up from the inside. I've had that happen with cabbage here. And so having, you know, those tightly headed structures keeps water inside of there, and you can just end up with a rotten head. Hey, have you liked and subscribed yet? You just gotta push the button. Yeah, just push the button. So let's go inside and take a look at these different breeds and see which one might suit you best. These are the 8 lettuce varieties that I have growing in my cold frame. So what we have here is a red romaine, Landis winter lettuce, Grand Rapids, black-seeded Simpson, Merlot, oak leaf, butter crunch, and red salad bowl. Each of these breeds of lettuce has its pros and its cons, and I'm going to go over those real quickly and how they suit my preferences as a gardener and a consumer of the food that I grow. First off, let's go with the red romaine. This one takes surprisingly little bug damage, but it also has a tendency to go a little bit bitter, especially when the heat comes. And but I do think that the bitterness and the purple color are part of the reason that the bugs don't like it. So in the future, I'll likely cross this with some green lettuce to maybe get a little less bitterness, but hopefully hold on to that bug resistance. This is a great leaf if you're going to be making any kind of food that you want to serve in a leaf, because it acts almost like a little tortilla. The Landis winter lettuce was a freebie from Baker Creek. I'm only mentioning that if you want to know where to get it. And this has just been a really good all-around lettuce. It performed really well in a cold frame because, of course, my goal in the cold frame was to grow lettuce during cold weather. And this is a very cold tolerant lettuce and has done well. Its flavor is just a really nice lettuce flavor. It's not too strong. It's not too bitter. It's a good flavor if you're just looking for a nice lettuce flavor that isn't going to overwhelm or distract from the other things you want to put in your salad. Now, the Grand Rapids and the black-seeded Simpson look a lot alike, but what I really love about the Grand Rapids is this sort of three-dimensional texture that it's got going here. I like my salads to be fluffy, and I don't like my salad sticking to the bottom of the bowl. You probably have had that experience where you're eating a salad and you can't stick a fork in the leaf because it's just stuck to the bottom of the bowl. More flat lettuces like a romaine are going to have that problem a lot more. They're very thin and don't really lift themselves up off the plate, whereas something like this Grand Rapids, you can always pick it up. It's got a lovely texture, lovely flavor, and for me suits the need of just getting that nice fluffiness that I want in a salad or a taco. And all around, I think it's a really good lettuce. The black-seeded Simpson is somewhat similar. You can tell it's taken a little bit of bug damage here, but on a really nice display leaf, if you want to display food on it, it does have some of that texture and frill going on, but I think the Grand Rapids maybe does a little bit better job of it. One of the problems I do have with my green lettuces in my area is I notice the green lettuces are a little more prone to bug damage, whereas the purple are not. But the purple also have a tendency in my area to go bitter fast just because of the southern heat. So it's something to consider for your area if you have really hot weather. And on that note, the Merlot. This one I notice can go bitter very quickly in my area, but when it was growing in my cold frame, it did not. So I think it's maybe better suited as a cooler weather lettuce, or certainly during more overcast times. It's gorgeous though. It's a really, really deep purple. And again, the insects don't like it very much. If I could probably cross these two together, I think I'd have just about the perfect lettuce for me. Next we'll go to just the plain old oak leaf, called so because of its shape. This has just been a nice, good all-around lettuce. As it's going to seed, though, I've noticed it's a little more prone to bug damage. Not this particular leaf, but the plant in general. But this has just been a really nice filler in the salads. And it has an interesting shape. Butter Crunch is the only heading lettuce that I grow. And it's just because it is so silky and has such a nice flavor. And if you're someone who likes to put food in lettuce and use the lettuce as the thing to hold the food, Butter Crunch is your way to go. It's very delicate, very silky, and its flavors won't distract from whatever you put in it. It's got a very mild lettuce flavor. But the only thing is, it is a lettuce that forms heads, and as such, it can be prone to insects getting on the inside of it. This one, the red sales lettuce, is by far my favorite. It's got a much more complex lettuce flavor. If you're new to gardening and you're not a big salad eater and you think to yourself, I don't really want to eat a lot of salad, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. Well, when you grow your own lettuces, you get flavor. And the red salad bowl is just a really nice example of that. It's almost like you can taste the variety of minerals that are in it. It's just lovely. The only thing with the oak leaf style lettuces like this and the green oak leaf is it's hard to fill a salad bowl with these because there's less lettuce per leaf, unlike a lettuce like this where you've got a nice broad leaf. So I think it's good to have a mix, and so you can get your textures and your colors and a variety of flavors. Now, even though I got down on these a little bit about their bitterness, I can tell you when I mix them in with the other lettuces, I don't really notice. So these were still perfectly fine to shred up in tacos. And I didn't notice any bitterness in them, but if you do eat them straight, you might notice a little unpleasant flavor once the weather heats up. The other thing I would say is that romaines are not good cold frame lettuces because they are very wimpy when it comes to the cold. I like this one in particular just because it's bug resistant, and I'm hoping to cross that with some other lettuces. But other than that, I've been pretty happy with the performance of most of these, probably most especially these two, the red sails and the Grand Rapids lettuce, although I still love me some butter crunch. And the Landis has also been really good. All right, folks, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate all the support from those of you who have continued to watch and certainly made it all the way to the end. Nice job. I hope you'll join me again here soon for some updates on the food forest and what's going on there.